Welcome to High Infidelity, the best cheating videos on YouTube. If you enjoy this content, remember to subscribe and turn on notifications. Now let's get into the video.
My 35 male, wife 36 female, of 7 years leaves me to be on her own, but starts seeing someone else after a week but refuses to say she left me for him. Please help. It'll be a lengthy one, but I really need advice since I believe she's lying and attempting to make me the bad guy. Copies of our text conversation will be sent here. So I've been with her for 11 years, married for 7, and have a 5-year-old kid. Our marriage and relationship had been wonderful until she changed drastically in March of this year. To cut a long tale short, she told me she was sad and didn't know why, but she wanted to be alone. We underwent weekly marital therapy for 6 months till she left, and the major reason she told myself, friends and family, was that she has always been in and out of relationships, and she needs to be alone and experience living on her own. She is scheduled to depart on August 19th. We've been separated for 3 months, and she's gone out of her way to tell me how great it is to be alone and how she's working on herself. She joked that she's virtually a virgin again after not having been intimate with anybody since me and we broke up, and she tell me she's doing a cleansing and even gave me a YouTube link explaining why it was good and why I should do it. I can't bear the thought of being with anybody else. I had a sneaking suspicion she was seeing someone else, but she assured me she wasn't. As part of our co-parenting agreement, we committed to notify the other person if we moved on or had a romantic relationship with someone. I trusted her. Let's fast forward to Sunday evening. While our kid is sleeping, we are enjoying some, probably too many, Halloween beverages at my house. She claims she's had too much to drink and wants to sleep at my house. She falls asleep inebriated at 2 a.m. and begs me to retrieve her phone for her before drifting off. Now, I see what I did next was incorrect, but I had so many gut sensations and reasons to believe she was with someone else. I rummaged through her phone. The first few messages I receive on Instagram from a man she messages are all, "I can't wait to see you tonight, so you can fling me around the bedroom tonight. I'll give you a right now, I just want to kiss you for an hour straight after work, my heart is beating." So I stress out and wake her up to confront her. She first attempts to get out of it by lying until I show her my phone and confess to looking through it. I apologize and recognize that what I did was incorrect. She says that she began him a week after we broke up, and that they sleep at one another's residences 2 or 3 times a week. She claims it's merely casual, that they're not in a relationship, and that he's just a companion. He, on the other hand, is someone exceptional, and she now considers him one of her greatest pals. I am devastated. I still love her, and she has given me reasons to hope that we may be able to work it out. I asked her why she lied so much about not being with or sleeping with anybody else, and she said it was because if I knew she was sleeping with someone, I would do the same in revenge, and she couldn't stand it. I remarked on how heinous and self-centered that is. She claimed she'd tell me about him when she was ready, and that once it was serious and they were in a relationship, but now it's nothing. They have no expectations of one another, it is just with a buddy. She also assures me that they were not conversing when we were together, and that since we had been separated, it was all right and none of my concern. That is not accurate in the least. I feel this has been going on for quite some time, even emotionally when we were together, and that she has abandoned our family for him. She's not the sort to rapidly someone. I suppose her intention was to keep it a secret until she thought she had enough time to introduce him without being shamed after an 11-year relationship. She claims she has not even informed her closest friends about him. My questions are as follows. Do you believe she had this planned all along? Has she abandoned me for someone else? Is her interaction with him considered a relationship? Feels she attempting to project nonsense onto me because she is guilty? Below is a text conversation from the morning after. From me to her, "Hey, thanks for the conversation last night. I'm completely absorbed by all of this, It's totally screwed me over. I hope you could see I'm not furious, and I'm not going to do something dumb or attempt to make your life difficult. I'm simply very wounded. I believe that is the most in my life, and I know you understand. I appreciate you attempting to address my questions about what this is all about. But in the real world, a relationship isn't defined by someone you see in public. tell your friends about, or go to dinner with in public. You have never been really alone for more than a week, and that is the fact that you must face. You never completed what you set out to achieve, which is why you left. It wasn't someone you slept with once and regretted. You've continued to do so, and you've developed a connection with him to the point that you've informed me he's now your best buddy. I know you truly wanted to spend time alone, but you didn't, and if you believe you did, you're lying to yourself, and you know it. Yes, you spent some time alone at your home or elsewhere, but you were thinking about someone else. Given that the major reason you left me was to be on your own, the fact that you never accomplished it and lied about it will always pain and confound me. I simply need to accept that you left me and everything we had with someone else. You made a conscious choice to fill the vacuum with someone else, despite the fact that it would devastate me. I have to remember that. I know you would have thought long and hard about it, but you selected him in private, away from everyone else, a week after you left. You're not going to confess that to yourself, but it's true. You've told everyone you left me to be on your own, but you've been with him in secret, so no matter how you spin it to yourself and others, you abandoned me to be with him, and I'm sure time will prove it since you've already made up your mind. Yesterday was a nightmare for both of us. Let's hope today is a bit better. Her answer, I get the impression you're attempting to narrate and control the discussion in order to make yourself feel better about the situation. I did not abandon you for someone else. I left a marriage that was no longer nurturing or developing for me. In the meanwhile, I'm dating someone who makes leaving a relationship after 11 years seem a little bit simpler. I hope you have a great day today, but I hope you think about our chat. You've spent the whole of this discussion telling me that I've abandoned you for someone else, and I'm sorry, but that's just not the case. And it's simply what you want to hear rather than dealing with what our genuine issues were, and I won't be an enabler for that. We both need to examine what went wrong in our marriage, and it wasn't someone else's fault. Is it making things easier? Yes. Do I take a glance back? Yes. But that's because I didn't abandon you for another. I had to leave you for other reasons. I'd never look back if I abandoned you for someone else, and you know it deep inside. I wish you a pleasant day. Story 2. Serious. Any other adults out there still resent your dad for cheating on your mom? I won't go into too much detail, but to summarize, I am a lady in her mid-20s whose parents are still married and have been for almost 30 years. When I was approximately 15 years old, I discovered my father was using dating websites after borrowing his mobile phone to access the internet and seeing his search history. I confronted him about it violently in front of my mother, then went off on him later that day. We had a very angry talk about it that same day when he got home from work. I missed school that day because I was too upset to attend. And by angry conversation, I mean I yelled at him and called him on his, and he ended up backing down, which he never does in those cases, so that solidified for me that he was guilty, and the next day he gave me some nonsense as an excuse for why he was looking. Curiosity, because one of his 30-something then coworkers who parted a lot used dating websites, and he wanted to see what the fuss was, but I'm not. It's been around 11 years, yet I still think about it all the time. I discovered early this year that the experience was undoubtedly devastating for me, but that alone was difficult to accept since I thought it wasn't severe enough for me to call it real trauma. The older I become, the more I despise my father for it, and it's becoming more difficult for me to let this go. And before anybody asks, yes, I have a therapist, and we've spoken about it a few times, but I'm still having trouble letting it go, and I'm tired of it impacting my relationship with him. I adore my father beyond all else, but I'm entitled to feel sad about what occurred. It has changed how I look at him in a million different ways and circumstances since then, and it genuinely saddens me. I can't fathom how that must still pain my mom to this day, and it genuinely bothers me to think of what it has done to her after all these time. I'm having a hard time here. Has anybody else have a similar experience? If so, please give me some suggestions on how to get through it more easily, or at the very least share your experience so I don't feel so alone.